Hi and welcome. This week I'm changing the front disc on my Gilera 350 Saturno. Now the disc actually isn't down to its minimal wear point yet, but one of the previous owners has converted it from a semi-floating to a full floating disc. And where the buttons sit between the rotor and the carrier, it has actually worn rather badly, so there's a lot of rotational and sideways movement of the disc now, and it rattles quite badly on the road and is probably a little bit dangerous if I let it go any further. So I bought a replacement disc, which I'll show you in a minute, but we'll just go down the front there and have a close-up of the disc, and I'll just show you how much free play there is in that disc. Well, as you can see, there's a fair bit of forward and sideways movement on this, and certainly it rattles a lot on the road, and that's the reason I'm actually replacing it. Now, replacing it isn't quite straightforward. These Isle of Man models of Saturnos have these Forza Italia forks on them. Most of them do, not all of them. Some have the standard forks. And these actually have a pinch bolt underneath. They're meant to be a quick change fork where you can actually undo the pinch bolt and the whole axle and wheel just drops out the bottom. But because of the speedo drive on the other side, it's been adapted to this particular bike. It doesn't come apart quite as easily as it should. So there'll be a little bit of wrangling to get it out. But before we take the wheel out, I'll just take you over and let you have a look at the replacement disc. So this is the replacement disc. It's a MetalGear, which is an Australian company. It's a 21303 AGL. Now these are available in two slight variations. There's ones with black buttons like this one, and you can also get them with silver buttons. But they're both stainless steel discs. Inside, we've got the actual disc itself, and the disc replicates the same cutout and design as the original. It's even got the same drill pattern on the disc rotor itself. The only difference being that the rotor is a stainless steel material on this particular one. So the next part of the job will be taking the wheel out and putting the new disc on. The first thing I'm going to do is take the caliper off. Now on mine there's actually a couple of spacing washers behind the caliper. That's obviously to adapt these particular forks. So I don't want to lose those. Now it's been a couple of years since I've had the front wheel out of this, so I'll probably not quite do it in the right order, but we just need to undo the pinch bolts on the bottom of the forks first. That's that one loosened. Now if we're lucky, we should be able to undo the axle nut. Next I might undo the speedo drive. So I'll just take that out. Just pop that out of the way. Now the axle should just come straight out. So I've undone the pinch bolt completely on the bottom of this forklift to swivel this out of the way, and that allows the speedo drive to come right off. So the wheel, with a bit of luck, should now just pop straight out. Okay, let's see. And out it comes. Okay, let's loosen these all off. That sits in nice. Now, before I put the new disc on, I thought I'd just run a tap down each of these holes to get rid of any corrosion or old Loctite that was in there, as they were fitted with Loctite. So we'll just run a tap in and just get rid of that rubbish that's in there. Okay, now we'll fit the new disc. I'll actually put, 243 Loctite on here. Doesn't need much. Just a little spot on each bolt. Now we'll just torque them up, and the recommended torque is between 18 and 20 Newton meters. Now that all remains is to refit the wheel. So one of the last things we need to do is just wipe the disc down with a bit of brake cleaner or degreaser, just to get rid of any oil or grease that's been put on the disc as a preservative during manufacturing. So just give it a bit of a wipe down. And now all we need to do is refit the caliper. Now when you do fit a new disc, you should fit new pads. Now I've already done a video on fitting pads to this particular caliper. This is one of the early Brembo 4-piston calipers, and actually the pads are held in by a bolt. You know, not a clip or a pin. It actually has a nut on the back. Quite unusual. It's quite an interesting early example of a Brembo 4-piston caliper. So I'll fit some new pads, and that will be the end of this job. I'll just do a bit of a wrap up, and that'll be it. Well, that's pretty much it for this particular video. Job done. I forgot to mention earlier that I actually cleaned and greased the axle and the axle nut. And I also put some fresh grease into the speedo drive. It's certainly worthwhile checking a speedo drive while the front end is apart. I can't think of anything else that I need to do to the Gilera at the moment. So, you know, next thing is to take it out for a bit of a test drive. I'll catch you next time.